Since Monday, we've been giving you a tip in the morning on what is going on in Ekiti, preparatory to the election. Now, the campaigns are over, and in 24 hours, the people of Ekiti will go out to decide who rules them for the next 4 years.
That's correct. We will focus our discussion on INEC's preparations and the security arrangements for the poll tomorrow. Let's now take you to Ekiti, where correspondent Femi Akonde is already seated to give us updates on what's going on. Hello, Femi.
Good morning, Ike.
Yes, very good morning. There is a sense in which Mike and I are very pleased to see your face this morning.
Femi, it's really nice to see you. Yeah.
Bright and early here in Ekiti State, you know, the hilly capital of Ado Ekiti. And well, we're up and ready for the election coverage tomorrow. It's about 24 hours to that day, the D-Day, where the fate of 35 governorship candidates will be decided at the polls.
All right, let's know what's going on. I know you have some updates there with a discussion with a few persons. Let's know what's up and what's new.
Yes, thank you very much, Mike. Well, I have here with me Eze Nwagu. Eze Nwagu is from Watching the Vote, a non-governmental organization that is, of course, carrying out this Watching the Vote, whose mandate, I would say, is monitoring electoral processes and ensuring that INEC and other stakeholders live up to responsibility. Eze Nwagu, welcome to the program.
My pleasure, good morning.
I remember interviewing you during the Anambra governorship election, of course, events leading to that election. And at that time, you gave INEC a pass mark. And I wondered why you did that, and then you gave me your reasons. This time, looking at INEC, and your team have been on ground, observing what INEC is doing, what the security operatives are doing, and what other stakeholders are doing to ensure that Ekiti records a free and credible process. What would you say is INEC doing this time that, or how would you assess INEC's preparation?
Well, Watching the Vote is a Yaga Africa's project on statistical engagement with the electoral process. So it's not the organization. Yaga Africa is the organization. In the timetable, INEC marked 14 specific things that they will be doing, and they have done 13 of those things. It's just remaining the E-Day activity. But like I always tell you, the election is a mix, really. INEC sits at the topmost pyramid of elections, but it does not control the process holistically. You need cooperation and huge sense of commitment from security agents. You need the politicians to be less mischievous. You need the voters to understand their role and responsibility for you to have credible elections. So for Ekiti, my sense is that the people are enthusiastic. My sense is that they are looking forward to Saturday. My sense is that the 20 minutes breach of peace in front of the government house does not distract from the excitement that you feel around the 16 local governments of the state. So I think that it is distracting, to focus on security in Ekiti. Because I saw the team focus on security. So I laughed when I saw it, because it does seem to me that the media itself has very deep interest in helping in distracting that attention. Because, Olumide, I don't know when you came in. Femi, sorry. I don't know when you came in. Reality is that we have removed conversation away from the issues that concern the generality of citizens and focus the attention on just a storm in a teacup. We are not discussing holding candidates accountable around what they will be doing, especially the dominant political parties. So we are focused on, the activity of somebody who is not even a candidate.
Well, there was a debate yesterday.
I followed the debate on
TVC.
TVC.
Partnered with Enough is Enough Nigeria, where the candidates came to tell the electorate their plans on how they want to change, of course, the fortunes of the electorate in Ekiti State. But you know, some other candidates shunned the debate. Some people participated, some did not. And you know, how significant would you say a debate like this is in the whole electoral process?
No, you know, debate is important because we are emerging, we're emerging. But really, there are things that have happened that ordinarily people should be dropping in votes right now. Okay, let's take for instance, WAEC released the statistics. Yeah. What is Ekiti in the ranking of states in that result? Does it matter to anybody? In other countries, that will be an engagement in this process. We're not having that conversation. So debate is important, but you also now ask yourself, what is the power situation in the Ekiti State? How many people have access to listen to the conversation that took very deep conversations that happened yesterday, enlightening, you know? But you need to now do a study and say how many people, even within Ekiti, you know, had access to that information. So it should be a more stretched conversation in terms of positioning issues that affect the citizen, both on radio, on television, on social media. We're not doing that. Every conversation about this election has more to do with individuals, and that worries me. Okay, it's a bit of a concern for me. I also continue to say that if you've moved around, you see people positioning themselves. What has happened is that people are looking forward to where to be induced. It used to be politicians inducing people. Yeah, in this state, the conversation is that where is the next inducement? And we're not concerned about that. We're not worried about that. We're not putting the satellite on vote buying, voter inducement. Those are some of the issues that I think we should rave up. If we continue to focus attention on the things that we're doing, we will not have anything to track. Because this is about, election is a small conversation where you put in the issues that concern the people on daily basis. So if, for instance, the dominant political parties were in the debate, we will be able to say, you did say you are going to do this WAEC situation, you are going to do this. On salaries and pension, you will do this. On issues of health, you're going to do this. We can't track anything, Femi.
But you know, this awareness you're talking about, this voter awareness is the responsibility, is a collective responsibility, of course, on INEC, the media, the civil society. Now let's talk about INEC. How well would you say INEC has been able to reach out to the electorate to educate them in the build-up to this process?
Femi, you see, we do voter education. And our conceptualization of voter education is funny. Because when INEC is telling you it's doing voter education, it's telling the people about how to vote, how to do this. And in fact, many times when you even have dedicated programs of INEC on voter education, it deals more with what the chairman did or what the resident electoral commissioner did within the week. That is our conception of educating the people. But my sense of this is that if you see a packet of cigarettes, for instance, you are going to see smokers are liable to die young. Yeah. That is education. That is smoker education. Is that not correct? Right. So you then find how did that affect, what percentage of people have stopped smoking on account of the fact that they saw that smokers are liable to die young. But we need to then engage smokers in a sense in which we bring picture of the heart of somebody who smokes and the heart of the other one who doesn't smoke, and then show them the difference. That is engagement. So going forward, the conversation should be voter engagement. Having conversations that has to do with the quality of citizenship, the quality of this PVC. What does this permanent voter card mean for the citizen? If you understand that the permanent voter card is superior to your ATM card, you would then appreciate it more. You will understand what it is. Because ingrained in the PVC is health. Ingrained there is education. Ingrained there is housing. Ingrained there is the quality of leadership that you are going to have. Because one miserable leadership can wipe out all the money you have in your account through a very inimical policy. So citizens need to come to grips with the fact that if you collect 300, 500, and then we justify it around poverty, you know that, oh, people are poor, so when they get something, then you can do an arithmetic around what the implication of that will be. If you take this 3,000 naira, if you take fuel from political, just one off giving you PMS, you know, and then you queue on filling stations, you collect one PMS, what does that mean in terms of development later?
All right, you talked about mischievous politicians when you were opening. Yes. I know it's now becoming a custom in the build-up to election for some people to complain about voter or ballot box snatching, people plotting to rig the process, militarization of the whole democratic process. Now let's talk about this militarization of the whole democratic process, deployment of police officers, civil defense, and of course even the military. Is there a better way of securing the poll?
Currently, there is no better way. The same us complaining about over-securitization will be the ones who will issue statement that the security was not adequate. So you are caught between very, what do they say, this and a hard place. That's where we are. So it's citizens that will determine that we need to civilianize. Election is a civil matter. Election is a civil matter, and it has to be civilianized. We are not, as a people, look, in Ghana, electoral materials are given to electoral officials days ahead of the election. They take it to their homes. If you give anybody electoral material in Nigeria to take to his home, he will be a dead man. So we need to talk to ourselves. It diminishes us as a people that, that we have to throw in 30,000, 16,000, security, DSS, and it is not cheap because they are mobilized from the different parts of the country to come and do this work. So when we argue for over-militarization, we should also be careful in understanding the environment that we live and the kind of human beings and the drama that they get involved in during elections. But having said that, you need to also appreciate that we have made significant progress in terms of, since after President Yaradua and the institution of the Justice Mohammed Uwais Committee on Reform of Elections, we have been moving. Yesterday, was it the day before yesterday, I did mention on this platform that, look, if you had followed Anambra, you were there in Anambra, Femi. If you followed Ondo, if you followed Edo, you will see that there's a recession of violence. There's a recession of ballot snatching. So, but what became the issue? The issue became vote buying. Politicians have met a brick wall within institutional manipulation.
We're talking about a dangerous trend now in our democratic process, which is vote buying. This started in, I would say, Bayelsa. I was in Bayelsa. I saw it in Edo State. In Ondo State, it became more prominent in Ondo State. And then in Ekiti State, again, you're saying that you fear that this would also continue.
Femi, why are we not cutting through the noise and putting this on the front burner? Who does it pay to present a picture of apocalypse? I saw a newspaper banner yesterday, Ekiti boys. And we are in Ekiti. There is not anywhere in these 16 local governments where there are, where you had to go to quell a protest, or all of this happened within government house Fajui, and then it became that Ekiti. What is that framing for? What kind of framing are we doing? So you and your crew, who have followed this trend, and then in the build-up to Anambra, what was the conversation? Violence. What do you call them? Biafra, IPOP, blah, blah, blah. And we kept telling people, a governor will be elected in Anambra State and there will not be violence. You were there. All of us were there. Yeah. Did you see even people shoving themselves? What you saw was people, banners, canopies were made, people were sitting down and they were going to vote, after getting what they so we need to begin to retool the mind of our citizens that our election is going to big pockets. We are handing over our electoral process to deep pockets, to people who are the highest bidder. And we are not worried about that. What it means is that self-respecting people cannot make a career in politics. We need to have that conversation as a people. And if we don't continue, people say, oh, 2019, this is a litmus test for 2019. And I think that it's ignorance working on four legs. Every election has its dynamics. This is an off-cycle election. It is, first and foremost, scattered. So the attention of the whole country is in this state right now. In the general election, your attention will be in your own state. Everywhere, TVC will not go round the whole country except all his reporters. You understand what I'm saying? So we are not going to concentrate all energy on one state. So it can't be. Yeah. The dynamics are different.
But this is an electoral offense, and some people have said that they expect the security agencies, of course, on election day to look out for some of these things. You see vote buying, you see some people trying to induce voters, the monetization of the whole process, and the security men are looking the other way.
No, you were nice. They are complicit, and I understand why you are nice to them. They are complicit. It is not possible to engage in vote buying and inducement and treating, which is the sharing of food and drinks in polling units, without the active connivance of security agents. And what has happened is that communities around the country contribute money and keep to take care of welfare of security agents, even when, so it's education. We need to do some education. We need to talk to our people that as far as you continue to do that, you will find out that we're not going to have the moral right to demand for what we now call democracy dividends. So it doesn't matter whether it's a security agent that gets involved in that. The people themselves need to wake up to the realization. Because I move around this place and I'm talking to young people everywhere, and people are saying, look, for us, it's for highest bidder.
Okay. Another thing before we round up quickly, another dangerous trend is fake news. Some politicians and some major stakeholders are deliberately pushing out toxic information into, of course, the whole public space to either influence people or, how bad is this and how has it played out in Ekiti? We know it's a problem all over, even a global problem now, but in Nigeria, this is also a present danger.
Femi, I don't know really what can be done about somebody who sits in the corner of his comfort zone and churns out lies and throws it out. Really, I don't know what can be done about that. But what I know is that I like when I watch your station and I see cutting through the noise. It sticks, it makes me get interested in watching your station. What does that cutting through the noise mean? It means that people who bring fake news they can bring out fake news, but we have responsibility to continue, in spite of the threat that portends, to put out what is the correct information. If I came to this studio now and as you are talking to me, I say, oh, there is crisis all over Ekiti. The world is watching. We must do this. Everybody will be like, wow. If you saw him on TVC, he was spitting fire. Once you say there is peace, people lose interest. They don't want to hear about that. It is because there is somebody who is willing, ready to accept fake news, that fake news thrives. If you are able to listen creatively to somebody who says, look, this is the reality, and that is why I think your station, for me, most times when you invite me, I'm excited to come. It's because I am seeing people who work very hard to put out the issues as they should be. Okay, look at the imbroglio in the state, for instance, not in the states, in the government house. Look, how many people are asking questions? Media is even scared to ask questions.
All right. We'll leave it here now. Well, TVC News will continue to give you credible information you can trust. Tell it as it is. And of course, we're on ground here in Ekiti. 16 local governments, 177 wards with 2,195 polling units.